Hi, I'm Red Snapper, and welcome to the Showgirl's Closet. Seasonally, let's talk about the question that so many burlesque performers are asked. Can I borrow your costume? Are you kidding me? Can you borrow my costume? Okay, this is a little complicated, but I do want to talk about asking that question and the etiquette and why you will often be met with a, "Are you f***ing kidding me?" kind of response, even though it might be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, no, I can't because I have a gig." Like, that's a big reason not to loan out your burlesque costume. But I just want to go into why.
Or like, I can't lend it to you because I have to do repairs on it, or some kind of like
a social reason.
A social
I'm
answer,
washing my hair.
Yeah, to like preserve the friendship, but tell the person no.
Yes, a polite thing. "Oh, I broke the zipper." It's not broken. "I'm sorry, I can't." So first, we'll talk about the costumes that are like totally okay to loan out as a performer. This shirt, this licensed shirt. If this was a costume, this is replaceable. And it's not sponsored, by the way, but I could replace this. This is an off-the-rack shirt that I bought online. Or I have a Velociraptor, which, I mean, it's super cute, as you can see. It's a very cute outfit. I could loan that out. That thing has 2 left feet. It's crazy. But that's a purchased costume that I've done nothing with. I might not lend that out because I don't know if I could still replace it because of seasons and years, and I bought that like 5 or 6 years ago. Another costume that I would be open to lending out, Barbie jumpsuit. I wore this Barbie jumpsuit last year when we had the family costume of Barbie and Ken. Mr. Snapper and Chowder were Ken. Nutmeg and I were Barbie, and I needed something that I could easily maneuver dogs in, which is why I went with the jumpsuit. He went with a sweatshirt. Really easy stuff. Like, sure, no problem. Happy to loan those to someone who wants to borrow them. Maybe some costume pieces that you can easily replace, like a pair of unembellished gloves. If you've got lots of gloves, I have lots of gloves from teaching, so I'd be okay lending out. Sure, you want some black satin gloves, I'll let you borrow some. Or maybe crinolines, random pieces. If you have Leg Avenue costumes, basically Halloween style costumes, those are okay for you to lend out because the world doesn't end if you don't get them back. It's not a huge investment. You won't have a friendship destroyed over it. It could be purchased and easily replaced. I think those are the things that are okay. Or costumes that you are done with and don't care about. Something that doesn't fit and you hated the way you made it in the first place. You could loan that to somebody for Halloween. That's fine. Do they want to borrow the things that you hate? Probably not, because those aren't the new cool in things. They may not be as well embellished. They may have hot glue on them. They may not want to use those. They may want the fancy things. No fancy things. No fancy things. Mr. Snapper, what are some other costume pieces that a burlesque performer might feel okay lending to someone?
Well, things that are just normal clothing items. So, a good friend, Estella Detroit, I believe, borrowed my leather biker jacket for an act. And it's just a normal costume piece. It wasn't like embellished or anything like that. And so that was fine. But we're talking specifically for like Halloween.
Right, not for an act. If you're backstage with a performer who has left something at home,
that's different.
That's different. Or if somebody says, "Hey, I've borrowed wigs. Like, can I borrow this wig?" Or, someone would put the wig on me at the show. I'd wear the wig. They'd take the wig at the end. And It was all agreed upon, and we were all cool about it. If you lend something to someone backstage, that is, the code is to help out the fellow performers.
Yeah. I mean, I loaned a clown costume to a fellow clown once for a gig. He had a gig. But a wig is a good example. If you have cheap-ass wigs, didn't you have a Cruella wig at one point?
I did. I had a Cruella wig.
So that wasn't like, it was like maybe a $20 wig.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so something like that, that's fine.
That's not a big deal. If it's a custom-made wig that you paid $300 for,
Hell no.
no. But loaning something to a performer, I've loaned my fans to a fellow performer because they drove halfway here and realized they forgot theirs at home in Louisiana. So they didn't have the fans. I lent my fans. If I'm doing the same gig with somebody, I'm okay with loaning certain things to them as long as they're not signature pieces.
But what if someone says, I'm going to a Halloween party dressed as a burlesque performer and I'd like to borrow your fans?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's so much money invested in these things, especially during tariff times. And my fans are made with huge fancy feathers, not from fancy feathers, but huge, attractive ostrich feathers on expensive staves. And I have cases for all of my fans. No. If they break a feather, which could happen, or they break a stave, which could happen, I have to replace that thing, and the feather won't be from the same dye lot as the other feathers. And feathers are natural things, so there might be like a weird colored feather, which means I'm tearing apart the entire fan so that I could tuck that one replacement feather in the right place so it helps with the whole look, but it doesn't look out of place. I'm redoing the whole thing. Plus, purchasing an additional single stave. Fans are labor intensive and not cheap. I wouldn't lend someone one of my big feather boas because when I bought them, I think they were like $300 a piece, and I think they're 24 ply or 36 ply or something like that. And there were some tariffs on top of that because I bought them in 2017. Now they would cost twice as much, if not more. So do I want to replace them? No, it's not worth it.
They're delicate. They get a lot of rough use on stage, but only for about 3 minutes.
Yeah. And a person carrying around a costume piece or wearing a costume piece, that's a lot more wear and tear, and not the wear and tear that was the intention when the piece was acquired or created. So if somebody borrows one of my costumes, we'll just go with that assumption. Someone borrows one of my costumes. A good friend borrows it for Halloween. There's the potential for damage, things that can't be controlled. They may not be able to control what happens. So they trip, they fall, they knock off a bunch of rhinestones. Goodbye money, goodbye time, goodbye fabric. Replacing some of these things, it's like it's too intense. Or somebody spills something on them. They can't control that. They can be on their best behavior and amazing, responsible people, and accidents happen. So my livelihood could be damaged on accident. Or if something gets spilled and they're like, oh, I promised that I wouldn't get anything spilled, let me be helpful and clean it. And they don't know what it's made of, so they use the wrong cleaning products on it, and it gets destroyed that way. A lot of my costumes are built custom by me, so they're made to fit my measurements. And if they're not an exact duplicate of my measurements and these things are fitted and they're meant to be worn with certain layers, I'd get something back that is either tightened too much that it causes the wrong kind of stress on the garment, or stretched out too much that it causes the wrong kind of stress on the garment. And no, just no. There are also hygiene issues. Burlesque costumes are worn in Well, they're form-fitting, and there are layers. Like layers that you may not want to share with someone else. And while you keep your stuff clean, there are things you can't easily launder, like corsets. So that's got all of your sweat in it. So somebody's going party to party and they are filling your costume with their sweat. No. Backstage, it's like, okay, somebody might be wearing this for an hour in a controlled environment, an hour tops. They get dressed before the number, they do the number, and they take it off. Like, that's it. I just imagine somebody going to the big shindig in West Hollywood and sweating as much as I sweat as a human into a garment that's not their own. That's funky. Costume shops are made for this sort of thing. Go to a costume shop where they make stuff that's industrial, that they have cleaning techniques for, and part of what you pay for is them to take care of the cleaning, but borrowing it from a burlesque performer to go trick or treat in, that's just not a good idea. Like, so many things could be broken. So many things could go wrong. You could bust a zipper that's a pain in the ass to replace. You could knock off a bunch of rhinestones. I know that rhinestones will come off my costumes just performing, wearing them for a short period of time. And I'm not rolling in and out of an Uber while drunk. So I'm just wearing them on stage. And some of these costumes are not built for wearing for very long. When you do cosplay, you may consider, can I wear this costume in comfort all day at a con? So you build the costume with that in mind most of the time. You don't think, oh, I could sweat this off. Our stuff is made to come off easily. Mr. Snapper, you've got a few pairs of tearaway pants.
Yep. And I had someone ask to borrow my Han Solo costume once. But there's snap tape up and down both sides of the pants. So, and the pants were tight enough that if I did all of the snaps, especially across my hips, they would pop open. So I had to only do every other snap, every third snap around the hips just to give it enough room to breathe. And yeah, you put those on, do up all the snaps, go to a party, your pants are going to be popping off within, 15 minutes.
Yeah, bending over.
Oh, yeah.
Standing up, turning,
sitting, standing,
hugging somebody. I've had things pop on my own costumes where I'm like, hey, it's good to see you. And I reach and then pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
That would make Halloween not very fun.
They're made to come off.
Yeah, they're made to come off.
Depending on what Halloween party you go to. If it's a Halloween play party,
you don't want your costumes there.
You don't want your costumes.
You don't want your costumes there because then we get back into the care and cleaning of your money making. So basically, as a burlesque performer, you shouldn't lend out your costumes for Halloween unless you're okay with them being lost, them being damaged, them falling apart. You have to be okay letting it go out your door and never come back again. And if you're loaning it to a friend, make sure it's not something that will ruin the friendship. You've got the best of intentions and so does your friend, but let's be realistic. Are you okay with sending your baby out into whatever environment that they wind up in that evening? Because plans do change. Oh, we were going to this thing, but then something happened and we changed our plans and I took your baby costume to a rave and somebody broke open a light stick and dumped glow stuff and apple teenies all over your costume. I don't know. I've never been to a rave. I don't know what they do there.
It's like a little bit like loaning money to a friend.
Yeah.
It's better to if you're able to, think about it as if you're just giving them the money. And if it gets paid back, great. But otherwise, in order to preserve the friendship, sometimes it's better to just think, you know what, this isn't a loan. I'm giving it.
Yeah. Even if you don't say.
Don't say it. I mean, you want to get the money back. But
even if you don't say, this is a gift, you have to be okay with
never getting it back.
If this Roy Kent shirt, if I loaned it to a friend and it never came home, I would be okay with it. I love this shirt, but I'd be okay with it.
I guess another time when it would be like okay, quote unquote, is if it's a costume piece that you're actively or planning on replacing anyway.
Yes, you're okay with it never coming back.
I got this princess gown. I look like Elsa, but I need to replace it because I want to wire LED lights into it or something.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, you can absolutely borrow my old Elsa gown.
Yes, I was planning on replacing that anyway.
Yeah.
Stuff that you're okay with it never returning.
Never coming back, yeah.
Or small things. If you have, I mean, again, things you're okay with not having come back. Gloves, crinolines, staples that could easily be picked up from an online retailer or your local stripping store.
Another thing is the stuff looks really good on stage sometimes, but under regular lights may not look as good.
Yeah. I had an early instructor who hot glued a lot of her costumes. And when she held them up and she said, "Do you see how great this costume looks?" I'm like, "Oh, that's fascinating." And then she passed it around and it was just a dog's breakfast. It was hot glued and there were raw edges. And I was like, "Ooh, that's okay." Yeah, that.
Yeah. Your friend might have the mental image of what it looked like on stage, not thinking about, I'm going to be mingling with people in a living room or something.
Yeah.
My Han Solo vest, I consulted a cosplay forum, and so the pants were like Dickies pants. The shirt was based on a pattern and made of the material that was suggested. But the vest actually made out of a black dress shirt. So
it had to be done fast.
it had to be done fast.
And on a tight budget.
Yeah, it looks okay on stage. It looks great in photos, but like there's that patch pocket on the breast that does not exist on the actual vest. And I sewed a flap over it so that it would look kind of like the pockets. But if you look too close at it, it looks pretty awful.
It's not your best sewing work.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, some of these things are not really pretty.
You don't want to kill the mystique.
You don't. And if it's a signature piece too, and your friend is out wearing your signature piece, then it doesn't look as special when you're wearing it on stage. I mean, I think back in the early days of burlesque, for me, there was a stigma of wearing a Leg Avenue costume right out of the bag onto the stage. Like, you want to look different from the audience so that the audience isn't like, "Oh, well, can I take a number and do that? Because I also have the Leg Avenue stripper scout costume." So it needs to be elevated to justify the fact that you're being paid to perform.
Yeah. It's like Teller talks about, well, with magic, we're not just writing the music, we're building the piano.
Yeah.
I think loaning your costumes out kind of kills the magic a little bit.
Yeah, it does. But if you have something that you want to get rid of, you want to offload, you never want to see again.
Yeah, dig deep into that box of like, one day I'm going to repurpose stuff or just throw away, but I'm not ready to do it yet.
Yeah, your costume graveyard, costume graveyard up there.
Up at the top.
Up at the top.
Costume graveyard.
Costume graveyard. Dig into your costume graveyard and lend those things to your friend. Or you can lend shoes. How about that? You could lend shoes that are not your regular dance shoes that you're okay with losing. Those are things that you can lend. Or if someone is in your home, you have a niece who is in your home, you're throwing a party in your house and you trust the niece to wear your fantastic tiara. Cool. Awesome. Just be okay with it never coming back. And for those who are not burlesque performers, hopefully now you know why your performer friends respond the way they do when you ask if you can borrow their livelihood and dress in their baby and spill drinks on it for one night of partying. Okay, maybe you wouldn't do that, but you never know what would happen when you've got the best of intentions. And I try not to trip over the dogs, but you know what? I still trip over them.
You know, I think that we could maybe borrow something from the Mardi Gras Indians.
Yeah.
They're not costumes. They're suits.
They're suits. Yeah, they're suits.
They're suits. Give them respect. Show them respect.
Yes, show them respect. Or burlesque suits. Have you loaned out a costume to a friend and had an incident where you didn't get it back? Or have you successfully loaned something out and you think that I'm a crazy person for being this obsessive about not wanting to share my livelihood with people to go to a party? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much to my patrons. I appreciate your support for the many, many years. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and boop that bell for notifications. And you'll see me in my own clothes next time. Bye.